What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for SummerSlam. And it was actually pretty good. It wasn't actually that bad this year. Obviously, TakeOver I thought was better, but SummerSlam this year was actually a pretty decent show, had a pretty solid card, and yeah, man. So let's just jump right in. So we started off with Bayley and Asuka for SmackDown, which I thought was kind of stupid that they had Asuka work two matches, but whatever. Anyway, this match was pretty good. Nothing too crazy with this one. Really, the only thing that really happened to note was actually Asuka did let, and also you guys hear anything in the background, I got fancy. It's so fucking hot. I hate this weather with a burning passion, man. Anyway, as I was saying. Was actually Asuka does like this jumping DDT. I think she did it off the steps. It looked really cool. So yeah, Bayley wins this match obviously after a mishap where she went for the hip attack on Bayley, but Sasha took the hit for her, and of course Bayley got the win from there via roll up, I believe it was. Solid match, nothing too crazy, but yeah. Next up was the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade Cien Almas. This was fine. Like, nothing really of note as well. Like, the Bayley match is a lot better because, you have Bayley and Asuka. Those two can, if they had a real crowd, I'm pretty sure that match would have ended up being a lot better because, the atmosphere and everything. But, by the way, let me talk about the Thunderdome real quick since I haven't really talked about it all. I like it. I mean, it's not going to totally fix the shows. They're still not that good, well written. But, for aesthetic purposes, it looks nice. I like the look of it. Anyway, so, Andrade made their entrance, then we got to the Street Profits. They actually had, like, Red Solo concept falling from the sky, which I thought was actually kind of cool if they did that, but, yeah. Cash out, Frog Splash, 1, 2, 3, nothing really of note. This was probably, outside of probably Braun Strowman and The Fiend, this was probably the weakest match on the card. The only thing that was really of note is actually, you guys know that like double stomp Andrade does from the top rope, and the guy is in whoever's doing this in the tree of woe, and he's like holding onto the ropes, and he's like at a 90-degree angle, obviously waiting to take it. This time, and JD constantly bitches about this move because it looks ridiculous and all this other stuff, which I guess I can see his point. But actually, this time Angel Garza actually propped up, I believe it was Montez. And he was actually propping him. Up with his hand. So then Andrade did the double stomp, which I thought that was actually pretty cool that he did that. It was a nice little double team there. But yeah, after that we had Mandy and Sonya. This match was great. This match was great. Obviously we all know what happened with Sonya. She damn near got kidnapped, and the security footage they showed off in the court hearing was pretty crazy. The dude just walks in and you're hearing a little bit of her testimony. I'll leave a link to an article that actually holds some videos showing a bit of testimony as well as security footage. So if you guys are curious about that, I'll leave a link to that down in the description box below if I remember. But yeah, man. Glad to see Sonya and Mandy are okay. The match overall was pretty good. I felt like this match could have been a bit better, but that could have been to the fact that both these women were obviously not in the best frame of mind since they damn near got kidnapped only 3 days ago. So I'm not going to hold that against them. And obviously we got the stipulation for the match change from a hair versus hair match to a loser leaves town match, which was probably done, and Sonya ended up losing the match. This was probably done for Sonya to get out of the public spotlight for a while, get her head straight, and because of what happened, which, hey man, I completely understand. Sonya, take all the time you need off, girl. To get your mind clear. She'll probably make a return probably till the Rumble, and she might actually win the Rumble. I'm actually hoping she wins the Rumble next year, because she has been, both Mandy and Sonya have done so much good since they broke up that they both have really come into her life. I was never really a big fan of either of them. Really, I was never really a big fan of Sonya. I was never really a big fan of Mandy. I mean, I didn't hate them, but I wasn't really oh, I can't wait to see Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville on TV. I didn't really have that, but since they both kind of separated with the whole thing with Otis, They have both really came into their own. They're quickly becoming some of my favorites. Sonya especially. Sonya has done such an excellent job in this new role she's been given that I'm so glad to see that she's been doing so well. It does suck that she's like riding this momentum, and it's most likely she's gonna have to they're gonna halt it because of what happened. But hey, I'm not gonna hold that against her. You know, shit happens. Take all the time you need to get your mind clear. Hopefully she does indeed win the Rumble next year. But yeah. Oh, one thing I actually found interesting was actually the way Mandy did her hair this time. Now you guys might remember like Dolph used to use like put some hair gel or whatever. I honestly don't know what the hell Dolph used to use back in the earlier stages of his career. But you guys remember when he was back with Vicky Guerrero, he would always have his hair slicked back, and then by the end of the match it would be all over the place. Mandy actually did that with her hair, which I found that to actually be kind of interesting that she went that route. And it almost complete, and her hair almost looked completely black when she had it slip back like that. It was kind of weird. It wasn't really that blonde. I don't know if she just didn't dye her hair blonde or whatever happened, but it did look a little interesting. So anyway, obviously these two were going at it. The match was really physical. They both showed intensity. Mandy especially, she showed a lot more intensity than I think I've usually seen from her in her matches, which was great to see considering the feud. One thing I actually find kind of funny, which I don't know what was going on here. Maybe the table just didn't want to cooperate with her, but Mandy was really struggling to get a table up for some reason. Like, it just wouldn't go all the way up for some reason. And I thought that's kind of funny that Mandy was struggling for so long. But then Mandy like legit starts grabbing steel chairs and legit is like sliding them across the table, and Sonya's like dodging them. And I think Corey mentioned that she's doing her doing her best Neo impression, which, you know, that was actually a pretty good call from Corey. But yeah, man. Mandy goes in there, she hits her. Well, Sonya tries to hit Mandy's finisher, but ends up missing. But Mandy's counters it. She hits the finisher, but she's like, no, I ain't done with you, bitch. Get up, and she's screaming at her to get up, and then bam, gets a running knee. Not a Daniel Bryan like running knee, but a running knee nonetheless. It looked pretty cool. I don't know if that's gonna be Mandy's new finisher or not, but it looked really nice. She does that and gets the 1, 2, 3. Obviously, Sonya is selling the fact like, no, about, losing to Mandy and all that stuff, which, we all know what happened to her. Honestly, if it didn't obviously, if this happened and she didn't get kidnapped, or almost nearly got kidnapped, excuse me, I'd probably be a little pissed off because she should have won the match. But knowing what we know and what has happened, it makes sense for her to lose this match so she can get her mind clear. So, great match. Technically, good outcome, but yeah. That was definitely one of the better matches on the card, was Mandy and Sonya. And then Otis comes running out with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He starts doing the worm. He then has Mandy do the worm, which she does not do it that good at all, at least compared to Otis. It was fine. It was better. It's also better than what I could do, but it wasn't as good as Otis's when he does it. They picks her up, they celebrate, and all that shit. Then we get to. Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins. This was honestly probably the best match on the card. Honestly, this was honestly the best match on the card. That and Asuka and Sasha. Those were the two best matches on the card tonight. So Seth Rollins comes out. He comes out first. He's actually wearing his gear was actually inspired by Rey Mysterio's gear at Halloween Havoc 95, I think it was, or 97, when he faced off against Eddie Guerrero. That was mentioned on commentary, which actually, props to Makaze. For you guys that don't know, Makaze actually did Seth Rollins' outfit. I think he actually does all of Seth's outfits, at least his pay-per-view ones, because if I remember correctly, Makaze posted on his Instagram 2 years ago a picture of Seth's gear, which was that Thanos-inspired gear they wore at SummerSlam a couple years back, and also posted a picture of this gear as well. So, props to Makaze. That man knows his shit. He also does not Seth. He also does he obviously also does his wife Sasha Banks gear, which Sasha was looking fine tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, so Seth comes in there, Dominic comes out there. I love Dominic's gear; it looked fantastic. And one thing that was actually kind of interesting is earlier on the show, Dominic was talking with Ray, and we also saw that Angie Rey Mysterio's wife and of course Dominic's mother was also there at ringside. So Dominic tells his mom, "Hey, can you give us me and Dad a second?" She's like, "Of course." And she walks off. Great. And then Dominic tells Rey that, "Hey, Dad, I appreciate you, my cool, but I want you to stay out of the match. I want to do this all myself." And Rey is obviously reluctant to do that first because considering what Dominic has happened, which props to Dom. That man paid his dues with those fucking kendo stick shots he took a couple weeks back on Raw. He has paid his dues with interest with those kendo stick shots. And anyway, but eventually Rey agrees. He says like, "It's time for me to be a man," and eventually Rey agrees to stay out of the match. So he makes his entrance. He actually has like this little hood as well that has like those little lightning, those things that are like on the sides of Rey's mask, which I thought was pretty cool. As we get in there, so obviously at first starts out a bit more technical with like some headlocks and collar toes. Obviously Seth Rollins is like out wrestling the living shit out of Dominic for obvious reasons. So which I always enjoy those kind of segments with like these type of matches with people that aren't exactly pro wrestlers. I just enjoyed that. I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, then Dominic starts to get in some moves. He does some really damn good looking arm drags. That man got some good looking arm drags. So after he does a couple of arm drags, the match really starts to get tight. And of course, once we start getting used to kendo sticks and everything, that's when shit gets crazy. When people hit kendo sticks on each other, Dominic getting kendo sticks on Seth getting kendo stick shots on Dominic, the whole 9 yards. But let's get to when this match really got good. So eventually, Seth is beating the living shit out of Dominic, and he's constantly telling like, "Rey, come on, help your son!" and this, that, and the third. He's just constantly like he's just like making Rey watch all the suffering, and Rey is like wants to get in there, but he wants to respect his son's wishes, and they keep going at it. We also got some table spot. I think there was actually also a table spot as well, which was nice to see. But definitely when the match really got good is when Angie, and actually throughout the match we would see these shots of Angie showing up there. She has her hands by her mouth as she's watching her son get his ass kicked. But eventually once they actually get the cuffs out, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, handcuffs. This is getting interesting. This is getting good, ladies and gentlemen." We get to the handcuffs, and at this point, I'm getting kind of excited. I'm like, wondering what's going to happen now. Then, actually, Angie comes out of the outside of the ring, or comes out to the ramp. Rey sees this, and he's like, and I think he was like, and like he was saying something to Seth. They were all outside the ring, and Rey instantly goes running to his wife and starts speaking Spanish, and he starts talking to her in Spanish. Which I actually recorded this section of the match off my phone and like recorded my TV off with my phone, and I actually said this and I asked my mom if she could translate what he was saying because Spanish is my mom's first language. She couldn't make out what he was saying, but I'm assuming he was just like begging Angie to just stay in the back and not get involved. I assumed that was what Rey was doing. I would assume. I don't know. I don't speak a lick of Spanish. But anyway, so afterwards, Rey actually gets handcuffed, and then like Seth has a kendo stick out, or he's about to like start wailing on Rey, but then he turns over and he still sees that Angie is right at the top of is by the stage. And so then he slowly and Buddy Murphy like grabs Rey and makes him watch while Seth Rollins slowly approaches Angie with his hands out. And I'm like, "Oh, what's gonna happen here? What's going down here?" Then of course Dominic shows up, starts wailing, starts beating the living shit out of Seth Rollins. We get some frog splashes, Seth gets back on the offensive and wins, and making Rey watch him as he beats the living shit out of him with a curb stomp. 1, 2, 3. With Rey still being handcuffed and making him watch as Rey's like desperately trying to reach his son, but he couldn't. Also, one of the things is actually also Buddy Murphy tried to blind Dominic again, does like the steel step spots he did to Rey, but of course that's when Rey comes in there, that's when he just gets involved because he can't wait anymore. So this was an amazing match, probably the best match on the card, and yeah. Curious to see where we're going to see Payback. Maybe we'll get a tag team match between Dominic and Rey with Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins at Payback next week. Dominic looked amazing in the ring for a guy that's like only, I think it's like 23, I think he is. Young guy, he looks fantastic, and I definitely look forward to seeing him more in the ring because he's very good in the ring. He moves around like he knows what he's doing, and he has a great looking system. So anyway, then we had Sasha Banks and Asuka. Unfortunately, Sasha lost this match, which means WWE's bullshit streak is still alive about Sasha not being able to keep a title for more than fucking 30 days. Oh, don't you just love Vince McMahon, man? Senile bastard. Anyway, so the match obviously was great. It's Asuka and Sasha Banks. What the fuck else did you expect? Now, of course, the big thing that was going on here is would Bayley take a bullet for Sasha like Sasha did for Bayley with that hip attack? So the match overall was great between these two. Sasha actually did like a sunset flip or a power bomb off the barricade onto the floor, and it looked beautiful. It looked nasty, but it looked absolutely beautiful when Sasha did the whole thing in motion. Looked great. But then of course Sasha is like, and then of course you got Bayley like screaming it off like, "You are nothing. This is 2 belts, Banks. You are the greatest to ever live," and all that other shit. We got all that going on there. Then then Asuka goes for a hip attack, and Sasha manages to dodge it, and Bayley's on the barricade. She actually moves out of the way, but Bayley tries to counter into the Banks here, but Asuka counters that counter into the Asuka lock, and Sasha taps out. And I love the visual of Bayley just handing Sasha one title while Bayley still has her 2 titles, the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Women's Tag titles. So the match was great, and I'm really curious. And now we know that the shit's about to hit the fan. Probably a Payback is when we're really going to see these two start to break apart. Most likely when they lose the title to, I think we're going to see Asuka versus Shayna for the tag titles at Payback maybe, or maybe it's not going to be that at the Riot Squad. I'm hoping for the Riot Squad, but I won't mind if it's Shayna Baszler, because I love me some Shayna. Anyway, so then we had the first of the 2 main events, I guess, with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. The build for this match has been fantastic, and this match was great. One thing I loved about this match is that actually, first off, of course, Randy's doing his usual thing. He goes outside of the ring, doesn't for the opening, just kind of paces around. Drew starts to get frustrated. Once he gets in the ring, Randy gets inside the ropes to back him away. Typical heel shit. We have already seen the song, yes, but I enjoyed that Randy did that. The commentary was also going on about the high ground. Once Randy slid underneath the bottom rope and got on top of his feet, and Drew slid on the bottom rope and Randy started kicking him. They mentioned something about the high ground, which I thought was funny because it reminded me of that scene from Star Wars Episode 3, the Regent Sibley, when Obi-Wan says, "It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power!" I love Revenge of the Sith, man. But anyway, so after that, we also, of course, got Drew going for the Claymore kick. Before we get to the finish, Drew actually locked in the figure 4 on Randy, which I thought that was pretty cool because of what happened with Ric Flair. So I thought that was pretty cool. But Drew actually goes for the Claymore kick. Seth manages to dodge it. He then hits. Randy goes for an RKO, but Drew counters it and grabs his arms and then does, I forget what I think they called it like a sliding something. Anyway, Randy slides on Randy slides down Drew's back and he pins him that way with a surprise pin, and they mentioned stuff like, "You will never see it. He never saw that coming," and he gets the 3 count for the win. So yeah, Drew is still champion. I was kind of surprised by this. I thought Randy was going to win this match because of how great Randy's been in his new revised Legend Killer gimmick. Now maybe he could get the title at Payback, maybe? We'll have to wait and see on Raw. But also after this match, we also got an ad that Keith Lee has been demoted to the main roster and will be on Monday Night Raw. I hope for the best for Keith Lee, but I'm not holding my breath with this senile bastard still running the show. So anyway, we then had the main event, The Fiend versus Braun Strowman. This match was fine. I mean, it wasn't all that good. Are you surprised Braun Strowman can't fucking wrestle? I know. The Bray is fine. There was really nothing to this match outside them going out into the gorilla area, balance there, and then the really only thing I've noted, I did enjoy the story once they brought Alexa Bliss in there, because that was actually something that always kind of bothered me, is that when the mixed match challenge thing was going on, and you had Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss thing, I wasn't watching the mixed match challenge, but I saw clips of it. It looked like that they were gonna like start a relationship between Braun and Alexa, and they just dropped it and then next thing you know, they dropped it, never to be mentioned again. And I was always like, were they setting up something? What was that? And then they actually, like, finished up and closed up those loose ends, which I appreciated. That did it, because that, I mean, it did keep me up at night, but I always kind of wonder if they were actually trying, like, setting up, like, a relationship between those two or not with what happened during the Mixed Match Challenge. Anyway, so the only thing really of note after they got through the barrack, after they went through Gorilla and all that shit, is that Braun goes for the toolbox and he grabs out some box cutters. Now, when he saw box cutters, I'm like, oh shit, he got box cutters. What are we gonna see now? So then he actually starts to destroy the ring, the bottom part of it, exposing the wooden boards. Somebody obviously wants to take over Chicago too. And then after that, the Fiend gives him two Sister Abigails and a Uranagi onto the wooden beams, and the Fiend wins and is a new Universal Champion. And yeah, but then out comes Roman Reigns with the spear, which I was actually kind of surprised to see Roman. I wasn't too surprised, but it was nice to see Roman. Honestly, I'm glad to see Roman back. It's a much needed shot of adrenaline in this show, and I'm curious if maybe he might be the little Retribution, because you saw the shirt, it said "Wreck Everyone and Leave" was entitled on his new shirt. So I'm curious if that means Roman's going to be the leader of Retribution. Maybe he's finally turning heel. I don't know. But one thing I found noticed is that he was attacking both the Fiend and Bray and Braun Strowman. And when he went to got to Braun, he said, he straight to Braun, "I created you," which he kind of did from those matches like they had, a couple years back, I think that was. So I thought that was nice, because realistically, Roman Reigns is the only reason Braun Strowman is where he is now. Let's be real. And yeah, man. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I gotta say. Show. I'm happy to see Roman back. Curious to see what's gonna happen on SmackDown. That's gonna be a very interesting show this week. Probably won't be that good, but hey, I'm at least more intrigued by it than I am usually, so I guess that's a plus. Overall, I'm gonna give this show an 8.5 out of 10, guys. So yeah. Tell me down below what you guys thought of the show. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell me all that below. And I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you like the video, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter if you like. The links on the description box below. And as always, I'm back for more. See you guys next time.